The card I'm going to show you today uses this stamp set called Scentsational Season. It is in our holiday catalog, and I wanted to point out the framelets that coordinate with it. When you look at the stamp set down here, you'll see the red lines around the images, and that is where the framelit actually cuts out the particular image. And just to remind you, you can purchase the stamp set individually, the framelets individually, but if you purchase them as a bundle, you save 15%. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to take out the mug and this little steam image. And the first thing I'm going to do is, actually I'm going to put some of my other card pieces together before I start stamping. I wanted to show you our new paper trimmer, and I did a whole separate video on this, but I wanted to pull it out just to show those of you who may not have seen that video yet. This piece of early espresso is a full 8.5 by 11, and I'm going to lift this and set the 11-inch side right at 5.5 to cut it in half. What I love about this trimmer is that up here it goes to 6.25 inches, so I don't have to pull my side arm out to cut the card size that I use so often. So it's just nice and convenient and has a great cut to it. So just wanted to sneak that in to show you. I'll take this and fold it in half. Use my bone folder to get the good crisp fold. And on this I'm going to layer this piece of designer paper as well as this one. These patterns are both from this Festival of Prints Designer Series pack that is in the holiday catalog. And if you flip through, you can see lots of patterns here that are the typical Christmas red and green colors. But if you flip back this way, on the opposite side, you'll see some blues and browns along with red. And you can see that these papers can be used for lots of different occasions outside of Christmas. A great deal with these 48 sheets. So I will use my adhesive, put about 1 inch in each corner, just a little bit in the middle, and place this right on my early espresso card. And then before I add this layer, I'm going to take some of our Island Indigo ruffled ribbon, and when I tie just a knot, I kind of measure like this, just pull out some extra here. And then just a quick knot tying tip. I cross my ribbon over like this. I tend to do my right side on top and then bring it down like this. I pull it perpendicular so that I have, I can get it really tight here. You can see the edges even curl up a little bit. I put my finger on it here, bring my piece up from the bottom and tuck it around, and then that gives me a nice knot that lays flat. And when I pull it, the paper just kind of naturally flattens out again, just as I move my fingers. So I'm going to set this here, trim the ends just a little bit of the ribbon to give them some nice edges. And then I'm going to go ahead and add this piece to the card as well. So I'll put my adhesive on the back here. I do a little more right there just because it's around the ribbon and I want to make sure it's secure. And then this piece I will add pretty much in the middle and then flush with the right side. So like this. Okay, now we're going to work on the focal point, which is where the stamping comes in. So I'll set this aside for right now and pull in my scrap paper of vanilla cardstock, and I'm using the Island Indigo ink pad. Again, if you haven't seen our new ink pads, hopefully I'm catching this right. You see the different surface here. This is a new foam-like pad, and it works so well on images like this because I can tap it on here to ink it up. Get some on the bottom there. I've got a good solid image. I'll stamp it like that. So when I stamp, I get a nice solid image. Now, I could certainly just leave this and cut this out with my framelit and put it on the card. But what I want to do, I wanted to show you this first so I could really highlight the difference in what I'm going to do. I'm going to ink this stamp again, and I'm going to remove that ink before I place it on. So let me go ahead and show you that. So I've got this, and then I'm going to take my blender pen that was done at the other end of the table, And I'm going to lift the ink right off of there. Just scribble on my scrap paper to get it out. So this is a blender pen. You can do some watercoloring techniques with it, with the classic ink. Right now I'm just using it to remove some of the ink. Okay? Once you swipe it like this and it comes out clear, you're good. The tip will still be discolored, but as long as no more ink comes off, you're just fine to keep going with it. Then I'm going to take our early espresso marker and use the brush end and go back over this with that early espresso dark brown color. Now some of you might be wondering why I didn't just color the whole thing with marker in the first place to get the two different colors on one stamp. But when you have a solid image like this, it's really much better to use the ink pad. I'm just huffing on it before I stamp. It's better to use the ink pad because you'll get such a more solid image than if I'd use marker on the whole thing. So now I've got my mug, but now instead the inside is that brown espresso color, which gives you that illusion of coffee or hot chocolate or something like that. So I'm going to use my Big Shot and grab the framelets. They come in a nice plastic case like this. And my mug is right there on the top for me. Excuse me, I'm going to take one of my cutting pads here. I set it on, both tabs are closed, set it on a cutting pad, line up the framelit, and then set this cutting pad on top and crank it through. And if you haven't used framelets before, they're pretty cool because it's almost like a punch. All I'm going to do is pop it right out so I have that nice crisp cut image. Set that aside and then pull back some other pieces here. This piece is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 vanilla, and this one is 3 by 3 of early espresso. So I'm going to take that other stamp that I pulled out, the little like steam, and use the early espresso ink pad. Tap that gently, make sure it's inked up well, and I'll put this right in the middle, down just a little bit. That might, I'm going to flip it over, try one more time, and put it up just a little bit higher than what I had. And then that way it will give me more room for my mug. I'm going to stick one of the Stampin' Dimensionals right on the back. I can line that up. And then this piece, I will go ahead and put some adhesive in each corner. Attach that to my early espresso square. And then this piece, I am also going to put a dimensional in each corner and pop that up onto the card. I may have told you this tip already in another video, but if you have a hard time peeling the backing off the dimensionals, try going like this with your thumbnail and just kind of creasing it, and that helps it to pull off a little easier sometimes. Okay, so back to the base of the card, and now I've got this here as our focal point, which I'm just going to set on here. And the two more things I'm going to do. One is to add one of our rhinestones, so I'm just going to peel this off. It's got this sticky adhesive right on the back, so I'm going to peel that and place it on the center of the snowflake, just to give it a little bling there. And then the other product I want to show you is Crystal Effects. This is such a multi-purpose product. I'm going to squeeze a little bit out here, hopefully you can see that well, and just spread it with the tip. You don't want to squeeze too much. You can always go back and add more. This is going to give it a raised, glossy, glass-like almost look. You can also use this as an adhesive. I've used it for things around the house. It's just a nice embellishment effect on the cards. So hopefully you can see that little bit of glossiness on the card. Crystal Effects is something that you're going to want to let dry for a good half hour. You want to just lay it flat and let it dry so you can see that shine on there. So you got the bling of the rhinestone as well as the glossiness of the drink inside. So lots of fun things you can do with the Scentsational Season stamp set. Thanks for watching my video. For daily creative inspiration, visit my blog or find me on Facebook at Jody Reinert Stamps.